Welcome back to Wild Moguls TV. Malik Spellman.
Peace to the gods and the earth and the listening audience out there, and all those that tapped in and listened to this conversation that we had in the past, and hopefully we'll have in the very near future.
Man, they were, as far as my channel is concerned, this was, you were a successful video. So far, my biggest.
Well, I appreciate that, and on behalf of the many listeners that,
I'll let that airplane go.
yeah, I'm high and so are the airplanes. But on behalf of the many listeners that left comments, and we really appreciate the comments, I just want to start this interview off by I told the interviewer to shut the fuck up. Okay? And I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys have tapped in and allow us to have a conversation without the interviewer interrupting. So his new name now is Shut the Fuck Up. That's him. He's anonymous. You don't want to see him because we got to keep him anonymous. We don't want y'all to beat him up outside. But he was told by y'all unequivocally to shut the fuck up. So I think that was on the Ike Turner one or something.
No, it was the Don Cornelius.
On Don Cornelius. So he will not be talking today. So if y'all don't hear from him, just know that it's nothing personal. It's just y'all told him to shut the fuck up.
Oh, man, they let my ass have it. God.
I've never seen a person get told that many times to shut the fuck up. And by the way, listening audience, he was listening.
Oh man, and they told me in every different way through emojis, acronyms, nigga, the STI.
That was the Ike Turner one, no, Don Cornelius, wasn't it?
Don Cornelius.
Yeah, they was on your brain, man.
Oh man, I would not put up a debate video clip ever.
Well, let's start right here. From Skrilla Skrill, 1099. Thank you, Skrilla Skrill. How are you over talking your guests? Precisely. BT, okay? And let's go to Trivia Superpower. How are you, Trivia Superpower from Brother Malik? Let the interviewer talk. We're here to hear the guests, bro. Did you hear that?
Oh my God.
Okay. Now, and thanks, shout out to Ray Love, Ray One Love. This dude is very knowledgeable. He's right about the Mexicans keeping old school alive, meaning that they continued playing low rider music when everybody else was doing R&B and rap. Okay? I've never seen a camera guy or host out-talk the interviewees like this one and constantly counter his points. I really wanted to hear the brother on cam share his knowledge. Damn. And that's compliments of Cap REA.
This lady said, the interviewer is so rude and wrong. Chuck Berry brought rock and roll to the forefront. Oh my God.
And to my boy Point Dexter Tunes, I am that dude that you met, man. So anytime you want to blow one, just hit me up, man. And I'm going to show you how cool brothers can really be. And we appreciate Point Dexter Tunes again. We appreciate Huey Garvey. You know, I've been knowing you since you was 12. Of course, Blue Bird from wherever you from, Bird. You're right about the private investigator. Thank God he beat your case for you. And last but not least, to all the people that respected and accepted the Peacemaker and Gold Skin, we appreciate you. We appreciate Corey, Theus, Retro. We appreciate a Retro. And also, one other thing, to the brother Evolution. Thank you for bringing out the facts that Johnny Moe was a cold dude. These were men of men. That's all I could tell you. And last but not least, let's find one more comment. Let's see if we can stumble up on one with them telling the gentleman behind the camera to shut the fuck up. There was one that was on here that was a classic. So bear with me for a second and we're going to get to this guy. One other thing. To real West Coast, West Oakland. I thought the old head was gonna diss the new age. These YNs worse. You ask me. They got bigger guns with switches and they're getting younger and younger. And you're absolutely right. And they're also getting bigger sentences too. So try to get at some of them youngsters so they won't get in trouble. I appreciate it. And last but not least, I Ike Turner did smoke an ounce of cocaine. And just to add a footnote to it, gold skin 9166. You said I'm lying, but 9 times out of 10, you born in the 90s. You ain't even been outside good. That's why you tapping in to get some game. But keep tapping in because we love you though, gold skin 9166. But we ain't got to lie to you. We got too much experience and we done went through too much paper to be playing with you. We don't have to lie to kick it, bruh. And last but not least, uh, Mr. Goldskin, the Casbari here, listen to his stories. They don't make sense. You don't make sense, and you probably ain't made no dollars. But I love you though. But stay down. Keep making comments. Out. Now let's get to the business. Quiet.
There it is. All right, man. We going got
Hold
a
the
lot
camera
of
for a second. 1 second. I gotta check this situation.
starting with Quincy Jones having his own store in Neiman Marcus.
That's not what I said, podcaster. Y'all
Oh,
always trying to twist
booth.
the questions.
His own
I
booth.
said, beyond the shadow of a doubt, Mr. Quincy Jones. Let me tell you the story over again.
Mhm.
I was, I believe, in Saks or Neiman's. I'm not sure which one, so don't quote me on it. And I was looking to buy some things. And I really was looking for the restroom. And I ran across the section and it had the Quincy Jones collection. So that really intrigued me because I never knew that he had a luxury line of colognes and napkins and, stuff that you wouldn't expect them to highlight of Quincy Jones's life. Well, consequently, the booth was literally about, honestly, I say about the size of a closet that you put your clothes in. A small closet when someone entered the foyer of your house and you got that little closet. It was kind of disrespectful. Not that I'm a Quincy Jones fan or anything like that, but I just believe in equality across the board for all human beings because everybody's in the pursuit of happiness. So with that being said, it was just tragic, man, to see how they had a great man like that and had his stuff in a little bitty closet, man, and I thought it was the bathroom.
Have you ever dealt with Quincy Jones?
I used to work directly for Mr. Jones, rest in peace, at Vibe TV, as I stated before in the other interview I did with you, in which I was able to develop a friendship with Mr. Jones.
What was his energy?
Mr. Jones' energy was like business, getting some money. I think he drinking them apple martinis with that Tabasco sauce he kept in his pocket at all times.
Hold on,
At,
hold on, hold on. He kept Tabasco sauce
at
in his
all
pot.
times, man. He kept it on him, man. He carried them fly little men's clutches. And, Quincy just had a style of his own that it represented class, and the fact that, like, I've been there, done that for years. So he's been balling for a long time. Don't forget, he got that Limpton tea money, that Peggy money, and they money go back to 1800s or something like that. So when he married that lady from Limpton Iced Tea or Limpton Tea, I'm quite sure he's been exposed to some things that the average individual have probably never been exposed to. And shout out to his daughters, Kadada, and the rest of their little crew over there. They got an older sister. I can't remember her name, but she's kind of taller. I think she's half white, but she's kind of taller and she's not like flashy. Kadada and them is more like the Kardashians or something, or Lionel Richie's daughter. They more into that lifestyle, that luxury lifestyle or that Hollywood lifestyle. Whereas they have one sister, man, that's straight down to earth. I mean, she's just like a regular girl. You would never think that she was Quincy's daughter. But when I developed a friendship with her, she was more organic in the sense that she's been exposed to everything, but she really didn't care about nothing that came out of that material world. It didn't define her. So shout out to her, man. If you watching this, Malik still love you. You was a tall, skinny little string bean sister when I seen you. So hopefully you married and got children. But she was down to earth though, Ken. Like for real. You would never suspect her to be dude's daughters, where the other ones were a lot younger, like Kenyatta. She used to be around Tupac a lot. A lot of people said they was going together. I don't know. But Tupac told me she just rolled his blunts. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what Pac told me personally.
Okay. Now, um, you was talking about you was being with Ice Cube and Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael for the at Minister Farrakhan's house.
Oh, wow, that's interesting that you brought that up. You know, during the East Coast West Coast War, which was a tragedy within itself, it was a microcosm to the gang violence, but it took a lot of lives from coast to coast, and a lot of people got hurt. So we was invited to Minister Farrakhan's house. The rappers, it was Cube there and a bunch of other high-powered, highfalutin rappers. I don't remember their names, but we met at the minister's house in Arizona. And everybody was in there. I remember it was a beautiful sight because I'd never been inside of a black leader's house like Minister Farrakhan. That was the equivalent of going to like Malcolm X's house or Elijah Muhammad or the Pope or, you know, the Pontiff or, let me see, you know, visiting a president's house, you know. And when I seen him coming down the staircase, and that beautiful staircase, and he had all the black leaders behind him, the old school, like the old heads that's been battling this fight for a long time. It was amazing to me to see that, and it's still blazed in my mind right now. Then I looked around, and a lot of people that was there, they was intrigued by the rappers, because a lot of the rappers, they flew in on their private jets and, you know, stuff like that, and they had a big, long dinner table. I believe Minister Farrakhan, his wife, God bless the sister, and his daughters and them, I believe they fed us food and whatnot. So it was really like a royal, beautiful moment that I could never relive again, because we don't even have them type of black leaders no more that allow us to come into their households. You know, my philosophy is, how can you speak for us when you don't speak to us? So that's what I'm dealing with. But it was beautiful. Then I met in the foyer, I think that's how they say it, of Minister Farrakhan's house. I met a brother that had on all white, and it was like religious garb, but it wasn't Muslim. It was just like a daishiki style. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? What's your name?" He was tall and skinny, kind of string bean, but he kept dapping his arm with a napkin, like a piece of tissue, like this. And I had never seen a human being leak fluid before out of their arm. I thought you just leak blood. So I walked up to him. I was like, "Yeah, how you doing, brother? My name Malik. You know, what's your name?" And he was like, "Kwame Ture." Now, you know, I'm in a situation in our schools, we have a digital education divide. So I didn't really know who Kwame Ture was. It didn't dawn on me at that moment. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael." And then now the light bulb went off in my head. And I was fascinated by this brother, man. And shout out to Stokely Carmichael and his family. But this is on the glorious Quran, the Bible, the Torah, and on the hood, the dead homies and the live ones. He told me, he said, "Malik, tell the people that this wound that I have right here came from a nurse injected him with something." That's what he told me. And that's what caused him to have a slow demise. Stokely Carmichael. And I got a chance to sit down and talk to him. And the spirit of that brother, man, was in me. We didn't do a bunch of talking like you would think, like most people would exaggerate. Like I snatched the pebbles out of his hand, like kung fu, and then he let me out. It was just a cool exchange of words while we sat back and observed the brothers that was in there. And look at Minister Farrakhan and all them, because them dudes was healthy and strong, and you know, they stood on business, man.
Man, I can imagine. So, what was discussed in that meeting?
What was discussed in the meeting was the overwhelming amount of attention that was given to the East Coast West Coast war. You know, that consequently started over some foolishness. But now here's my opinion, and here's something for your listening audience to debate and try to say that I'm lying or whatever. I'm open to the conversation. But the East Coast West Coast war, in my opinion, mind you, didn't start with Suge Knight getting on stage saying, "If you want to be nobody all in your videos, if you don't want to be this, that, and the other, come to death row." It didn't start there, in my opinion. It started with the Luke Skywalker, with the Miami crew. And then that divided the coasts, because people that was on the East Coast primarily went with Florida. And people that went west of the Mississippi went with Los Angeles. So in my opinion, just mine, and you can do the research, the biggest discrepancy that they had at that time was the Luke Skywalker situation, because he was dealing with freedom of speech back then too,
You're talking
as a
about
matter of fact.
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell, you know, the shake your booty man, not Skywalker. I don't know, I'm thinking about some weed or Star Wars. But Luke Campbell, the gentleman that's on TV sometime speaking on behalf of the Democratic Party or the process.
Wow. And why do you think? Can you explain why you say, what beef did he have?
I don't recall the beef, but I know they was beefing with, I might have been the dog pound. Don't quote me on it, you know, because I know you YouTubers are really good at looking up stuff or have the experience of being there. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But I believe it started with something along the lines of some West Coast rappers.
So, and Who was like the most vocal person at that meeting that you remember?
The most vocal person at that meeting was the one that was in your comments that told me old school need a Zippo. I heard that little slick comment you said too. All right, so I got me one and I'm trying to light it. And to your other commenter that said the longest roll blunt in the history of Guinness Book of World Records. Yeah, I heard that one too, slick. So I came with one semi-roll. But what's your question again?
Who was the most vocal on the artist side? Or no, besides probably Louis Farrakhan. I know he's very vocal, but who was the most vocal at the meeting? That and might have surprised you that you didn't know he had it in him like that.
Well, when you amongst the giants like that with Minister, hola señora, ¿cómo está? Ah, está bien. Buenas noches. Yeah, I think, and I have to give credence where it's due, but nobody can speak louder than Minister Farrakhan even when he's quiet. So I wouldn't say who was the most vocal, because when you're in Minister Farrakhan's presence, you got two ears to listen twice as much in one mouth. I can remember once before I was at the masjid on 40-something in Western, and the minister was speaking. He was on a roll for like 2 hours plus. And here I go with my young, black power, know everything ass. Everybody else is listening. This is why it's important to listen, cameraman. And I had my hand up to ask a question, because I'm God body. You know, back in the days, the 5%ers in the Nation of Islam in New York used to get into big discrepancies, fights after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed away. There was real discrepancies, like fights and squabbles. There might have been a couple of shootings, but they reconciled it. So that was my question to him, just to let him know that the 5% nation that was represented from on my behalf, being a 5% on the West Coast, we reconcile our indifferences that we may or may not have had. And I had my arm up. And do you know that man in his supreme wisdom, I guess he said, I'm gonna let this clown right here keep his arm up. He made me hold my arm up for almost 2 hours straight like this, so I could feel the blood going down into my lungs almost. And every time I went to put it down, I can't remember the name of the brother, but he was one of them BKF, Black Karate Federation type brothers in the nation. He was behind me. And every time I put my arm to put it down, he hit me in the back a little bit, like, put your arm back up, like, get your question in. But minister was teaching me, don't interrupt the greats, and I learned that. So when I went up there, we said what we said, and he whispered something in my ear. And when he whispered in my ear, I'm not gonna tell nobody, but one day I'll reveal it on this show. And well, I'm gonna tell you now. He said, and it's been almost 30 years, he said, you made it. And then he gave me a grain of rice. Was it a mustard seed? And I still got it in the house to this day in a little bag. He gave all of us mustard seeds that day and told us that we should have the faith the size of a mustard seed. So as far as who was the most vocal at the meetings over there, I would say that would have to be Minister Farrakhan, Kwame Ture, and all the other greats that was there. Just be it in their presence, man, it radiated some sort of power and confidence in me, and it removed all the arrogance in you and all that, man. I mean, it was like electrifying.
Was there any artists in there that was electrifying as far as putting his input from the artist perspective?
I think and it keeps popping in my head, I think Cube may have been the most vocal, because during the East Coast, West Coast thing, he was the most neutral in this whole equation. You know, Cube has always been Ice Cube. You know, he didn't really have much to say about that because he functioned on both coasts. And then Cube was really representing something different back then that the minister and all of us could relate to. You know, he's talking about police brutality and all the other above stuff, and then he got in trouble for speaking on the Jewish community and things of that nature. So I believe Minister Farrakhan told him once before, when Cube was saying, like, yeah, you know, I'm into it with the Jewish community or something, and the Minister Farrakhan, and don't quote me on, he said, well, son, if you step in the street, in the middle of the street, expect to get hit by a truck. And I believe that's what his quote was. Somewhere I heard from him, or I read it somewhere, but I believe I heard it directly from the minister somewhere.
Wow, that's incredible. How long after that situation did Kwame Ture pass away?
I have no idea, but it was right thereof. And they weren't pleased with that East Coast, West Coast thing. Them dudes them was gangsters. You want to see some real gangsters, some real hoodsters? You go check out Minister Farrakhan. I'm gonna tell you another dude who's a funny dude, but he ain't no He ain't no slouch to the game. Snoop Dogg's father. Snoop Daddy, I believe, was in Vietnam, and he used to come up to Vibe TV a lot. I forget his name, but he seen Jesse Jackson one day. And I guess him and Jesse used to toss them brawls up back in the days. So he seen Jesse at Vibe. He was like, Jesse was coming in all presidential. And then Snoop Dad was like, Jesse, man, my nigga, what's going on? And Jesse was trying to act all formal and shit. He was like, my nigga, what's going on, man? Woo-doo. They're talking about them bitches they tossed up and some more shit. And I'll never forget that, man. But Snoop's dad, you would never think he was Snoop's father if you met him. He's so cool, man. And then don't forget Big Pimpin'. You know, I think Big Pimpin', rest in peace, right?
Yeah.
That dude was, man. And then his son, Lil Pimpin', I remember when he was a little boy. But Big Pimpin' used to write some poetry, man, that would make Shakespeare and Socrates look stupid. Remember, we got the Hood Picasso, which is brother Muhammad Mubarak, the painter. Then we had Joe Cool from Snoop's thing, who was another artist extraordinaire. Then we had, rest in peace. Then we had, what's that gentleman's name I just mentioned?
Muhammad Mubarak.
Mubarak, we had Joe Cool, and then we had another gentleman that was the poet, which was Big Pimpin'.
Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, he was poetically inclined, man, to write.
He was on the DPG albums.
Yeah, and then you know that one with the WBL balls or something. But that dude was real smooth, man, and you know, Snoop's father, like I said, you would have never known he was his father. Like Snoop's mom, God bless her soul. You know, and I'm not no fan of no rappers. I don't do personality worshiping, but I do acknowledgments. And his mom was super cool. I remember once we was going to shoot a video in New York, and we were shooting a New York video. And I had on my big green jacket, kind of corduroys with the 5% flag on the back with 2 or 3 other coats. I don't know what made me wear that because I assumed it was going to be cold. So we all went out there, Snoop, I think they went on private jets. Me and my brother, Lil Cat, free Lil Cat, by the way, in the penitentiary, Big Cat's brother from 60s. That's my Conrad, helped me with the truce and a lot of stuff, man. That's my Conrad, man. And we went out there. So we was in the trailer, and they was passing around a blunt. But before we left, Daz's mom, God bless her soul, she was like, man, y'all need to change that Death Row title to something more godly. But, you know, we didn't have no control over that. And that's the last thing she said before we went to New York. And then when we got there, you know, Daz's mom used to sing gospel, I believe. So she had some gospel songs that she had us to play that gave to us, and they was playing them in the trailer. So we in there listening to the gospel song, but they banging though. They like bangers, right? They ain't your normal "We Shall Overcome" Jones. And the people come to the trailer, the line producer, Snoop, you up next. So Snoop didn't go out there real fast. You know, I guess his scene was up next. But before that, we was in Times Square with the lowriders, and the lowriders wouldn't start because it was so cold. The engines wasn't used to that. So we was in there, and it was freezing, man. So then somebody went on the radio and said that the dog pound and something was out on the, was in New York, doing New York, big city of dreams. So we in the trailer, they calling Snoop to come out. And then when Snoop's supposed to come out, he didn't come out. We steady hitting the weed. So we in a circle. So the weed keep going past me. I'm like, okay. You know, back then he just went in a circle with the weed.
Yeah.
So they kept doing their thing with it. And then when I did something, and all of a sudden we heard bap, bap, bap. We was like, what the fuck is that? Because the train went by. The moral of the story is we don't know who. You know, they try to say it was Biggie. But his crew, of course, if you're in New York, it's got something to do with New York. But I wasn't there to see who shot. But they lit our trailer up, man, with bullets. And guess who the only one that got shot?
You?
Stand still, don't move. It's crazy because when I thought about it later on, I kept trying to figure out, like, why did God have me wear that jacket? And it explains it. Why you have me wear that jacket? And it explained it why. Because that jacket that I had on, the 3 layers, is what saved me. Is what saved me. So that jacket saved my life. So when they shot, we all hit the ground. And I guess Snoop's security team, brother Malik and them, God bless their soul, they had a technique in which they would have Snoop, get on the ground and whatnot until the shooting stuff was over, man. And it was crazy. They left on private jets, and then me and Lil Cat stayed there. He knew some females in New York, and we stayed in New York. But I was scared to death though, and I'm a New Yorker. But Biggie and them had them snipers shoot through that trailer, and it was going through there like candy, man, like poof, poof, poof.
And you really feel it was like the vibe was that?
Repeat that question.
I mean, y'all all felt it was Biggie.
I'm not gonna say that, man. I mean, that's one of them podcaster questions, man. I ain't finna ask no stupid ass questions like that. I don't know why y'all be asking stuff like that. Talking to the police saying, "Oh yeah, it was Biggie." No, I don't know who it was. I didn't see the nigga that was shooting. All I know was somebody gunned it down and I got popped and the bullet didn't penetrate because I had on them 3 jackets. You know how I am about them podcaster questions. Don't take it personal, man. Podcaster questions is a motherfucker though.
So you was the only one to get hit.
I was the only one to get hit. I said to myself, I was gonna die in my own hometown.
Damn. And then, but Pac wasn't there. That was just Dog Pound and Snoop, right?
It was all this Dog Pound thing. Nate Dogg was there and some more shit.
Damn.
Sit, Gage.
So, and then after that happened, y'all just they just all flew back to L.A. or they?
Doug put all them dudes on private jets and they got up out of there fast. He put them all on private jets, every last one of them. And all the people that came, like the little help like us, I think he had us either on commercial planes. But he got us there and back. They had us with rooms and everything.
Damn. That's dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
And what was your assignment for being
I was just riding with Snoop and them. You know, he used to take a lot of us out of town on his little thing. Plus, they probably needed some Cali look for the videos, you know.
Yeah.
And Nate Dogg, rest in peace, he was alive then, you know. I can remember when Nate Dogg had that robbery, and I was a news reporter for Fox 11 News. And they was trying to say he had robbed some Taco Bells. And I was like, what? Taco Bells? I was like, man, dude, this dude is a big star. I don't know what the situation was with it, but it's a true story. And I told Nate, I said, nah, this is what you do. Snoop had just got a Rolls Royce. I was like, look, get Snoop's Rolls. It was in front of the studio. I said, stand in front of that Rolls. I'm going to interview you, and I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say, man, I ain't got to, what I told him to say? I ain't got to rob no Taco Bell. I'm riding Rolls Royce. And he's standing in front of the Rolls. And then a week or two later, he went to court, and I believe he beat it, man. But I was trying to give the image like, dude, you ain't got to, you Nate Dogg, how you going to rob a Taco Bell? And not even mistaking you to be the person to rob Taco Bell. But there's another side of that equation that I don't speak on because I'm unsure of on why they thought it was him. But I helped him out. He was doing that song back then, Never Leave Me Alone. It was on Fox 11 News, straight from the streets. You can probably catch it on Upfront Productions if you want.
Wow.
Sit.
Now, we was talking earlier, prison versus institution. Can you explain that?
Yeah, prison versus institution go like this. Stop it. You know, a lot of California people go to prison. Back when I was growing up, they only had mostly prisons. They didn't have too many institutions. And if you look at the labels, because you know, the system is quite literal and the people that run it are as well. So when you look at the system and you see where some brothers, like they say they went to San Quentin prison or Soledad prison or Folsom State prison, those are prisons for criminals. But if you look at now, they got places that are called institutions, but they still prisons, but they're titled institutions. So what I mean by people are quite literal, if people are quite literal nowadays, and they're not gonna just put something on there unless they mean it. So what they're trying to say to me, in my mind, is that these people are not criminals as much as they are genetically criminally insane, according to Hillary Clinton per se, because she's the one that called us, her and Mr. Biden called us predators that time, and said that the black man and youth was born genetically criminally insane, meaning that you have a propensity for violence naturally out the womb. So with that being said, a lot, you know, California built, I think, 26 new institutions and no colleges in 40 years, I believe, more than that. And then California hasn't had a black male senator in 52 years to represent the state of California, in 52 years. So there's a big difference between prison and institutions. Then a lot of people that are coming out of prison, they're coming out of prison, but they got these youngsters thinking that they was hard on the yard on the 4 yard. Well, I'm an old D number, so let me tell you something about that. Sit, stay. Let me tell you something about that. It's a lot of sensitive need yard participants and residents or occupants that were in prison. Then they come on the streets. The youngsters don't know no different. They just think you was in prison, you hard. They don't know that you was a sensitive need case or a PC case. So you got to know the difference between the 4 yard, the 3 yards, the 2 yards, and how they operate. And from what I heard, nowadays the dudes that's the sensitive need yard facilitators, or should I say occupants, are just as hard as the dudes on the yard that was gang banging and rolling up snitches. So the system has changed, man. So all you young people out there, stay out of the system, man. Just stay out of it. That's not the rite of passage that you want. You rather do 4 years in college than 4 years in a penitentiary. I'm gonna say it again. You rather do 4 years in a university or 2 years in a small JV college, I believe it is, and then work your way up to a UCLA or HBCU. Don't waste your life, man, because you got 50 years to live as a fool. So you can either live it in a cell doing the same routine, showers, yard recall, child time, stabbings. I seen a dude once before I was in the pen, and his cellie was bullying him. And when his cellie was bullying him, they used to share the yard time. Like you go to the yard, I rest and stay in the cell. So when his cellie used to go to the yard, when he used to go to the yard, his cellie used to go through his stuff and steal it. So when it was his cellie's time to go to the yard, he went through his stuff and found out that the dude was in there for raping his sister. And I got 2 stories like this. So consequently, can you cut the tape for a second? Yo,
Hold on. Say it again.
videographer bought some weed. One day I'm gonna turn the camera around for y'all. If y'all give me 30 requests, I'm gonna send y'all a picture. I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna turn the camera around, but I need to get it requested though from y'all. Cause he a cool dude, he a cameraman. He just he believe in getting them likes. But he ain't gonna get them long if he keep interrupting. Now go ahead.
If you don't shut the fuck
You
up.
don't shut the fuck up. This gonna, instead of being a mogul TV, wild moguls, it's gonna be wild shut the fuck up, because they ain't listening. I've never seen one person get told shut the fuck up by his listeners that much.
Oh man.
They was telling each other shut the fuck up, trying to tell
Hey,
you shut the fuck
I
up.
try to tell you, I wasn't really looking at where it was coming from.
Apologize to him then right now.
I apologize.
Say it again.
I apologize.
Say it again.
Goddamn, nigga.
Okay. Say, all right, get him, y'all. Fuck him. He ain't learned his lesson.
This nigga. I thought they would say that shit on every video, but it was really just coming from the Don Cornelius, so I felt a little bit better.
And to your smart ass watcher, again, I ain't forgot about you. I rolled this blunt kind of quick that time for your smart ass. I'm out of the Guinness Book of World Records. Now I'm in there for the fastest roller.
Oh man, them motherfuckers go in on the comments, man. Some of them niggas was hurting my feelings.
Yeah, y'all did hurt my man though. But yeah, get back to it, because I got my thing. I got to get the mosquitoes coming in my joint.
All right, man. So you was at the Whitney Houston death, or the night she died.
Yeah, unfortunately, I forget the hotel we was in. It was in Beverly Hills somewhere. And like I said, I wasn't there intentionally. I was in the area. And so I dipped over there. And when I dipped over there, I seen, what's his name? Clive Davis. And it was like a real somber moment. I think they had just announced that the sister had passed away, God bless your soul. And as in the Nipsey Hussle situation, I went to go buy a candle to light for Sister Whitney, but I only had a few dollars. And in Beverly Hills, a candle that I was gonna get was probably like $30 or something. And do you know the dude in the store wouldn't let me get it? Because I just wanted to light it outside to be the first one. I only had something like 15 bucks in my pocket or something like that. But what shocked me about that scenario, and this is just my personal observation and experience, he came down the staircase at, what's that hotel it was at?
The Hilton.
It wasn't the Hilton.
Yeah, Beverly Hilton.
Okay, well, if that's the case, do the research and find out. I thought it was something else. But anyhow, when they came down the stairs, like a royal couple and Whitney Houston, God bless her soul, was still upstairs. And then he came down the stairs with Jennifer Holliday in his arms. And I was like,
Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson, please correct me because I'm having senior moments. Jennifer Hudson. And I felt that was kind of ironic. And he wasn't crying or nothing. He just came down like they was at a grand ball or something, a mask, eyes wide shut, no open event. You know what I mean? Or 9.5 weeks. I just felt it was kind of eerie, man.
Was he wearing all white?
I think he had on a tuxedo that day or some kind of black suit. But that's another podcaster question because that was years ago. So I'm really supposed to remember what color he had on. Like, really? Watch these podcasters, y'all. They got some tricky shit. If you don't be on your P's and Q's, they'll work you. Was he wearing all white? What the fuck does that got to do with the story that I just told? Shut the fuck up. I just told him what happened. Then he turned around and asked me some asinine shit like, was he wearing all white? And the words of people in the street, nigga, I just told your ass unequivocally the story. And I'm talking to your viewers, not your ass. I didn't ask you to chime in. Was it wearing? I just told you the story. What do all white have to do with any motherfucking thing? We talking about Whitney Houston, God bless her soul, and another motherfucker coming down the stairs with old girl. What's her name? That's when you supposed to chime in.
Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson. And you go to some stupid shit and ask me, was she in white? That's why I love this nigga right here, man. He is my other half, 50-50 when it comes to podcasting. But I got to stay on his ass. I'm gonna let y'all see this nigga one day. And he's smart, the motherfucker. Went to them white ass schools, but it ain't help him none, because he keep interrupting. Motherfucker know trigonometry and everything. We just don't know trigger, shut the fuck up. And don't ask me no dumbass questions like we on them other shows.
Oh, I got a real dumbass question for you right now. You're really much. Let's talk about you and Laurence Fishburn smoking angel dust.
Now, let's talk about me using your lighter for one of your old weird ass viewers to give old school a lighter. I ain't forgot your ass. I'm going to be on you till the day I die. Until you get old school. I'm going to give you empty light. I got a lighter, motherfucker. Now, what happened? I'm giving it back to Mr. Shut the fuck up. So now it look like it's working. Look. Now, go ahead.
You and Laurence Fishburn smoking angel dust together as teenagers.
Yeah, man. Old Fish, man. I was going to Brandeis High School. I think it was like 78, 79 or something. It was me, Larry. We call the nigga Larry. They call him Lawrence now. And we had bought a bag of dust from uptown. Well, we didn't buy it. Ron Carter Jr. bought it, who's Ron Carter Sr., famous bass player. Look it up. His son was kind of more exposed. They had the penthouse in Midtown Manhattan. I'd never seen a black man with a real penthouse. And I believe Mr. Carter Sr. is still alive today, and his son passed away as one of my homies, me and Fish. And also the kid that was on Good Times went to the school across the street from us with the Widow's Peak. What's his name? JJ's brother.
Michael.
Michael. His mom used to pull up in a raggedy ass like Rambler. And he was real square and kind of shy and standoffish, but he was going to them private schools, but he didn't fraternize with nobody black. He just ran into school and his mom would pick him up. I don't know whatever happened to him and his family and his bread, but it was kind of a different, it looked like his mom was a little lightweight pack rat. I'm not sure, but we was young. So Ron Jr. had the dust. I'd never smoked angel dust in my life because it was made out of embalming fluid back then. So I hit it. We on the subway up on the top because Jamaica, Queens, the train used to be on the upper tracks, not underground. So I hit it once, and then Ron hit it, and then Larry hit it. And then we was leaning looking for the train like this, and then I moved back, Ron moved back, and Larry was still like this, and I had to snatch him back like, man, the train coming, because the angel dust had kicked in that we had smoked. And then right after that, the next day or something, we came to school, and we was looking for some weed or something because we went to a school next door to I don't know if Larry went there, but I know we used to all meet in that area. But I went to Brandeis in Manhattan across from Lincoln Center, next door to Lincoln Center, and we was talking, as young men do, and then he was like, hey, D, this dude, this director called me for a movie, man, and he want me to be on a boat with him on this movie or something. Should I take it? And I was like, yeah, take it, man, because I don't know if he was aspiring to be an actor or what, but he took the role, and it was in the movie, I think, Apocalypse Now. So, Larry, if you watching this, try to remember that, man. So then fast forward about 20, 30 years later, I seen him at an event doing a trailer for something. And I was like, yo, what's up, Larry? Which I expect this to happen because it happens to me. It's hard to remember people. And he was like, what's up, man? I said, what's up with you, Larry? He said, Larry, my name is Laurence. And it kind of made me laugh, like, you nutty professor sounding motherfucker. Oh, my name is Laurence. Like he was a narrator for a Star Wars movie or something. And then I was like, yeah, man, it's me, man. What's up, man? And then I said, man, it's me. He said, he said, D. And then when he remembered who I was, he said, oh, man, give my assistant your number. I was like, man, I'm cool, man. Fuck you. I'm out of here, man. You know what I mean? Which I should have stuck around. I probably could have got me some further action in Hollywood. But yeah, me and old Larry Fishburn, man, was experimenting with that. Because back in the days, like one of your little weak-ass commenters tried to say, now that dude, Malik was a smoker back in the days. Let me tell you something, Playboy. First and foremost, I manufactured narcotics when I was in that stupid ass world. I didn't use narcotics like that. And then when we did use it, we used to put cocaine on the tip of our private parts, okay? And when we did use it, we used real powder cocaine, fish scale. Your ass and your generation smoking synthetic CVS, fentanyl, crystal meth. It was a way of life when we was growing up with the Superfly movies and wearing the little spoon around your neck. So you don't know nothing about that. And we had real cocaine. So yeah, we smoked Primos. The bosses back in the days were smoking Primos. Crackheads were smoking rocks. And the reason where it came out crack is on the east side, one of my homies, they used to say it was a $50 rock, $25 rock, 100. And then the smokers used to say, hey man, I think it was my nigga Bird, rest in peace. And his brother Bird, and I forget the other one's name, some of my homies, but anyhow, on the east side, South Central. And the smokers used to say, because we used to call the females strawberries. They weren't called crackheads. And the smokers say, man, crack us off a little piece for $5, $4. And you would take the whole rock and just crack off a little piece and try to make your money that day up. That's where the word crack came from, off that east side.
From the east side. Crack.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And before it was called crack, what was like how
It was
what
called
did it call?
freebasing. When you used to take the cocaine, the homie Way Out, I believe, was the first one to rock up cocaine in the microwave. God bless Way Out. He's still in prison. He'd be an amazing story. That was a fly little dude, drug dealer back in the days, had the 454 trucks and some more shit. But uh, uh, they was freebasing with Bacardi 151 rum, where you would put the rum on the cocaine on the plate and set it on fire with the rum and then let the impurities go off and then you scrape the real cocaine up after you blow it out and you put it in the pipe. You try that now, you just gonna have plastic. So back then it was called freebasing. It wasn't called crackheads and smokers. And then back then when people were smoking cocaine, they wasn't smoking and then not eating, not having sex, shitting on yourself, weird as hell. That didn't happen. You stayed fly.
So Richard Pryor wasn't a crackhead, he was a freebaser. He chose to smoke his smoke his coke, not snort it.
Can somebody get old school a lighter? Because this ain't working. Thank you.
Okay. So now, Freeway Rick Ross, we talk about him bringing the crack thing, and what they say. So, did he bring crack or did he bring cocaine?
Freeway Rick had cocaine and it be turned into crack. But Freeway Rick didn't bring that to the community. Let's stand to be corrected. The CIA brought that to the community. There's no City Hall in South Central, Watts, Compton, Long Beach, Chicago, and these ghettos. There's only get it how you live. And that's the hand that was dealt to us. Nobody woke up in the morning and said that we want to lose all our black businesses, all our homes in California, New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Louisiana, Detroit to no stupid ass drugs. That was government funded and government pushed. Raymond Washington, God bless his soul, has never committed a drive-by. Raymond Washington, God bless his soul, who is the founding father of the Crips, have never sold crack. Tookie Williams the recipient of this concept of California revolutionary in politics, along with Raymond Washington's experiences, have never did a drive-by. Let's make that clear. They never sold crack. They was just members of an organization that every country and every culture on the planet has. A good and a bad, my side and your side. Your side of the tracks, my side of the tracks. Now, what they turned it into with the help of the CIA, so you got to understand, the CIA, they have a technique in which they use rap to overthrow countries. That's why you see every country got a rapper in it, from Venezuela down to Afghanistan, to India. Everybody's rapping. So rap has really captivated people's perception of how to put on a peaceful demonstration and to captivate the imagination of the masses by not throwing a bullet or shooting a bullet. So rap has played a fundamental role in creating the stop and frisk. Rap has created a situation in which the car dealerships have benefited from rap. Because before, General Motors was just selling bunk-ass cars with raggedy tires. Then when that rap game came, they boosted the economy for Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Christian Dior, all those name brands, Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari. They got free advertisement off of our people. Because every time we put on something, look, I got on some Balmain shoes. You don't think nobody gonna see them? That's free advertisement. What have Balmain ever done for us? What have Gucci ever done for us? They never put a fashion institution of learning in our communities. So sometimes we have to hold these people accountable. Like Forgiano, what have you done for us? What have you done for us, Old English or Ciroc? What have you done for us? That's why I say the NBA stands for me, and to me, and it's just my opinion, not black anymore. Then at the NFL, how can you be an NFL player? And this is not an indictment of them all, but this is just an enlightenment to the ownership. We got 60,000 plus people homeless just here in Los Angeles. And every winter we watch a lot of them freeze to death, like that sister that her baby froze to death near LAX a couple of years ago at the bus stop because she couldn't get nowhere to sleep. You remember that? But we got NFL players that's sitting in the field on the 30-yard line with big heaters behind them blowing the heat out. Why can't we set up a tent like that until we get housing for these people to keep them at least warm? So my ideology and perspectives on how to do things doesn't reflect the masses of the people or the people that sponsor them. But this is just what Malik would do. And I don't give a fuck about what race you are, none of that. But how can we have where all you need to do is get one little heater in the winter and put it in a tent like you have in a revival or something to keep the people warm? Simple solutions and intelligent choices.
Look what I just put a simple calculation. You said 60,000 homeless, right?
Yes, sir.
If California, not even America, but let's just say America, but California, if they invested $250,000 per person into their some type of situation to solve their problem or help solve their problem, that's only $15 billion.
First of all, they got to be accountable for the city of Los Angeles, has to be accountable for that billion that they already sent down there that nobody have no accountability for. Second of all, it's just like when I see the county of Los Angeles, this is just my civil engagement mind. When I see the county of Los Angeles saying they're going to give the housing to the homeless, to the unhoused, right? But what is a house going to do to a person that has a mental illness or mentally unstable? Because poverty creates mental illness and crime. So what are they going to do? Set the place on fire? And another thing, how are they going to qualify for these places? And then how are they going to pay for it? So that's just a smoke and mirror thing when they say they housing them. America's big enough with the help of China. Instead of fighting, if they was to get with China and look at all the housing creations that they have, they got housing in tubes, housing on the boat, housing that float, fold up housing. And in California got enough land to house a couple of countries. You know, I know because I own some of the land.
Now, you know what's crazy? If we did the mathematics or did the numbers, the crazy house, the psych wards,
yeah,
they got eliminated as far as like permanent stay. I think it's 48-hour.
Well, that happened when Ronald Reagan closed out all the mental institutions back in the 80s. And then he shut down all the pilots too that was doing the pilots for the air traffic control. So like I said, you know, they putting a lot of institutions now. That money for mental illness is being put into building prisons, and they call them institutions, as opposed to building rehabilitation centers that allow you to get your mental status back and your capacity. So there's a big discrepancy when it comes to the the prognosis of the people in the community and the diagnosis. And the diagnosis just says one thing: we're in bed with the pharmaceutical industry, and it's an awful lot of cough syrup.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of crazy people
They're not crazy; they're in poverty.
in poverty. People,
Impoverished people who are functioning at a capacity and at a low capacity in one of the wealthiest countries on earth. They're not crazy. They're victims of various circumstances.
let me rephrase that. There are some people who are literally don't need to be on the street. They need, you know what I'm saying? Like they need help. They actually need 24-hour.
And then you got some people that
maintenance.
live in the house that need help. You got some people that got high-powered jobs that need help. So it's all the way across the board until 100% dissatisfaction, young man, brings about 100% change. And until you get the people 100% satisfied, then the system's going to remain the same. You have to, like Tupac, you have to have a Machiavellian school of thought when you're dealing with this. Look up some of Machiavellian statements. He was ruthless because he believed that in Rome you do like the Romans, metaphorically speaking. He just blended right in. He just was more ruthless and more dedicated to what he believed in. But on another note, I wanted to say this before I push. I really enjoyed talking to you about the Ike Turner situation. We got a lot of feedback from that, and we were proven to be right. Second of all, I think, and this is a message to my sister Beyonce. Beyonce, this is just Brother Malik. You invite me over to your house if you want to. I don't steal. Jay-Z, I ain't gonna pick up nothing. And but it would be a hell of a thing to sit down with Jay-Z. Not to ask him for no money. I don't need no money. I'll take a glass of water. But you know, let some of the brothers in the street see some balling and hand the torch down to some real ones, man, and know what to do. Because we're gonna go get them facilities that help get our people off the streets. All we need is about 6 million from you, Jay. We get it back to you in a few years. Let us get our people off the streets. But Beyonce, this to you, sis. And I make sure you thumbnail this special message to Beyonce. Would you do me a favor? And I'm gonna tell you what you can buy me if you do this for me. I want you to go get Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and Stephanie Mills, and I want you to take them on tour with you. Because those are the greats, and they're in their 60s, and they need that economic hit. Or at least remix the song or do a song with them. Do that. Just bring back that old soul music for me, B. Do that for your brother. And if you really want to, hey, because I know my girl, you know, she gonna do me like that dog over there doing that tree. But if you holler at Sade, tell her brother Malik wanna holler at her right quick. Cause you know what I'd do with Sade? I'd go undercover with her deep amongst the homeless. Cause see them type of females like that, them Sades and them what's the other little sister's name? I like her little ass too. Nicki Minaj, and it's a couple of more. They don't like them square ass busters that they with. Because they don't elevate them to the next level. And then a lot of them sisters got in the game to try to help themselves, their family, and their people. But if you got these goofies, like your man that had, what's that little sister's name? The little cutie pie of New York. Always Cardi B.
Yeah.
And she had a dude, what's her boyfriend's name?
Offset.
Offset. And I told him before in the video, Offset, that was an Offset sucker move. How you lose a broad like that? You should have had her out building convalescent homes, feeding the poor, rounding up registered voters. But you played games and the game sent you a bill. You should have let us fuck with her. Because we know what to do. See, them type of girls, they wanna be back in the ghetto and make a difference. But Hollywood gonna send them that way. But I'd have had Cardi B somewhere building buildings and some more shit, man. Cause she with that. You don't think they want to get outside, but y'all got problems and you gambling and you acting stupid and a million man security. Baby, let's jump in this rag top bucket and say fuck it and hit these corners and hand out this food. That's what they want to do. That's why they don't stay with them busters long. Because Hollywood, first and foremost, don't do family.
Huh.
Think about it. Everybody that, and I'm not gonna mention no names, but as soon as somebody in Hollywood that you and I know have a baby or get married, if you ain't Brad Pitt or Kelsey and the other little broad, the little white broad, they don't accept that shit.
Mhm.
Look at Polo Halle Berry. She get a movie in, but the minute she played family, it was over. The minute Kim Kardashian started playing family, they started shying away. They don't play family. You are a commodity and a business, and we need all your time. And if you do play family, your kids gonna get raised by nannies. They'll come out speaking several languages. But you are not allowed in Hollywood to be a fan. I know somebody, man, such and such guy. I know it's gonna be one of you scouts that's gonna say that. Dude got a family. They do, but they not as, just pay attention is what I'm telling you. Just pay attention.
That is real. You don't want no family.
Soon as Sexy Red had a baby, we seen less and less of Sexy Red, didn't we? Soon as Cardi B had a baby, she started having more problems. They broke up a marriage. They don't play family, man. Why do you think brothers like Denzel and them stay with his same woman and on the side out the way? Yeah, they issues, but they know how Hollywood get down. Once you play family in Hollywood, you better be out of it. Because let me tell you something that you need to know about Hollywood. This is how Hollywood work. If you ain't fuck something, smoked something, took some drugs, cut a deal, did some cutthroat shit, or got in trouble by 12 o'clock, you're not in Hollywood. You're on the outside looking in. You in front of the club, fool. How you mad at a nigga in the club balling and you outside complaining? You in front of the club. So that's how Hollywood work. Like my black ass, I'm not in Hollywood. Because if I was, I'd have been and had me some drugs, fuck something, cut a deal, cutthroat somebody, and did a production by 12 o'clock. That's how Hollywood work. It closed at 12. Then they go to lunch.
You did all that by lunchtime. That's some cold-blooded shit. Can you tell us some more Johnny Moe stories?
I'm going to tell you this about Johnny Moe. Johnny Moe was one character. But I was in the pen with a dude, had a wicked laugh. You could hear it through the whole building. The happiest soul in prison. I'm going to call him Mukes for privacy purposes. And I used to be like, Muke. And he, because he had all day and the rest of the night. They didn't give him a sentence. They just hand him a grandfather clock. You get out when this motherfucker stop working. That's how much time. I think he had like 300, 400 years. Because I used to be in there with dudes that would be arguing over who had the most time. Like really, like they would be ready to squabble. Like, no, nigga, I got double life plus triple life running bow-legged plus life without in 400 years. And I'm sitting there like with my little 7 years. I'm like, and they like, you don't tell them you got them 7 years and you got some single digits. You don't be in there, trying to act tough and talking that shit. Man, I want to go home and go around them killers, them lifers. Don't you? Because all lifers wear watches. I'm like, why they wearing watches? Ain't nobody going nowhere. All lifers wear watches, man. Why? Because they drink plenty of water and they walk slow. That's the first thing they going to tell you when you get in there. When I first got there, I thought I was a fly nigga. I was in there on a high-powered case, and I walked up on this old dude. I didn't even know him. I walked up to him. Hey, man, I'm a player, man. I'm trying to feel my way around the yard. And the old dude turned around. I know he had one of them big-ass key shoes in his pocket. Ain't no doubt in my mind. He turned around with that jean jacket on, because them dudes in prison, they wear them jean jackets till they get out. Like that jacket you got on, they never take it off. You have a salt stain, but they be cut underneath the tear. So I walked up on him. I was like, yeah, man, Say, oh, dude, player, I'm a player, man. I'm a player. And I told this bro to send me $200. He turned around, he looked at me. He said, say, young nigga, first of all, you ain't no player. You's a sucker. I said, what? Now I'm ready to fight, knowing I'm gonna get massacred. That I'm jumpy. He said, you's a sucker, just like me. He said, nigga, all the players out there is wearing alligator boots up to here, riding Rolls Royces with alligator jackets on. He said, nigga, you sucked up in here with me. Then he turned around and he said, and furthermore, and I'm just saying no disrespect to the ladies, but I gotta quote it like I smote it. He say, and stop telling a bitch to send you $200. And he was like, the bitch might have wanted to send you $400. Nigga, just tell the bitch to send you some paper. And walked off. He said, you ain't no player. You's a sucker. You got sucked up in here just like me, nigga. All the players, and he popped his collar on me. All the players out there is riding in Rolls Royces with alligator boots up to here. And it was about 90 degrees outside. He telling me niggas got on boots. He had triple life without, plus 409 years, some old crazy shit, and kept it moving. Dang. So to you youngsters out there, God forbid if you get in them stoops, they gonna tell you, young man, drink plenty of water and walk slow. Because you ain't going nowhere. And if you drink plenty of water, you're gonna do is walk slow. Cold, man. I was in there with Mukes. Mukes was so cold. I'm like, Mukes, what you in here for? Mukes used to, I don't know if it was LA, I believe it was, or one of these little spots, so don't y'all come YouTube inquiring mind ass want to know like I was lying, because I ain't got a lie to kick it, and this is free. I ain't getting no money for these interviews, so don't trip. I was like, Mukes, what you in here for? Oh, man. But bottom line is, Mukes had a doctor, and him and the doctor, Mukes would take the homeless people and take them to the hotel, to the motel, and he would put them in the bathtub, he would knock them out and put them in the bathtub with ice water and ice and all that. This is in his transcripts. And then the Jewish doctor would steal all the kidneys and, the vital parts out of motherfucker and leave them in the tub. And he was snatching homeless people off the benches out there, because back then it was only a few homeless people on the bench. I believe it was in LA. And I remember that story. But I was in prison with that dude. So the moral of the story, Muke was so happy in prison because he wasn't never going nowhere. One day Muke said, man, I'm getting a family visit. I'm like, how this nigga getting a family visit? You got treacherous crimes. In there, you don't get a conjugal visit if you got rape, arson, shit like that can really get people fucked off. So you don't get that action, right? It's called a barnyard visit. You go out there with your wife and you do your thing, and she bring you food, police stick their finger all in your food, make sure no knives, no guns, and they put you in the back of a guard shack and let you get your little barnyard on like a rooster. And then you come out in a couple of days. So I was like, Mukes, man, what's up, man? Man, I'm going in the barnyard. He had a bra about this big, man, because you want to see some big ones? Go to the penitentiary, because their philosophy is a big girl is cool in the winter, cool in the summer, and warm in the winter. And then the only thing gonna run for you up in there, man, is something big, because the only woman ever stayed down with your ass in a penitentiary. If you think your girlfriend with them spiderweb eyelashes, them tarantula eyelashes that weave, that fat ass and them titties, gonna get on that bus stop on Crenshaw to go to that Greyhound and don't get picked up by them fools out there on the streets before she get to the prison, you in trouble. You're gonna need a fat girl that's gonna run for you. She gonna pay like she weigh, and she's gonna run like Seattle Slew. So when you go in the visiting room in the prison, you be seeing some dudes in there with some girls big as that light. No disrespect, we love them. To all the girls that run for niggas in jail, we love you. We love you, man, because without y'all, we wouldn't be nothing. I'd rather have one of them when I was in there than Beyonce, because she gonna stay down. Beyonce's gonna be like the Statue. Only woman ever really stayed down with a nigga in prison is the Statue of Liberty, and she cracking up. She held her hand up long as she could, and she started cracking up. That's it. So if you think your girlfriend, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna be a fireman, when you get out, she gonna be this big. The homie's gonna be done went through it. And and I say this, ladies, forgive me, because it's not to the ladies, but this to the streets. The only bitch that ever stayed down with a nigga while he was in jail was the Statue of Liberty, and she cracking up. That visiting room be having some, they be lifting up the vending machine, big ones. And then the brothers be in love with them. No, they be taking care of them. These brothers in jail that's taking care of their families on the streets with their jail prison number
Wow.
and hustling.
Wow. Now, is there any other cold people like Mukes and Johnny Moe that you ran into in
No,
your?
but I was working in 1750, which is high power in the men's central jail. They call it red wristbands they give you. That mean like keep away when you got a high power case, newsworthy and some more shit. So I'm working up there and as a trustee late night. So this brother, man, he was swole, man. This nigga was like 22-inch arms, big ass back, but he couldn't never wash his back. So he told me one day, he said, man, you the new trustee? I'm like, yeah, what's up, brother? How you doing? Because I'm non-confrontational. Unless you fuck with me, then I'm going to give it to you, news, weather, and sports. Other than that, I don't want no problems. Like literally, I can count the fights I had on one pinky because I'm not into problems. And he's like, yeah, man, could you take that brush over there on that stick and wash my back with it? Now, he behind the bars, right? So you had to take the stick and you got to take he had a routine he did where he'd take the scrub brush that he had a clean one and then you put it on the stick and then he put it in this water that he make and then you hit his back like that. Cause he at the bar, he couldn't reach his back. That's how big he was, right? He couldn't do like this. So I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll help you out. So I went to do it, whoop, 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 whoop. And he said, yeah, man, they're good looking out, youngster. Well, he was one of them dudes facing 100 years, 200. He was facing, when he used to go to court, the dudes, legal files used to be this high, man, in his arms. Like dudes, and they be having cases, man, they be having stacks of files that you would not believe. And he's like, yeah, man, that little punk ass motherfucking trustee before you, I had to bust his ass up. I said, bust him up? I said, how you get to him in my mind? He said, yeah, because I used to tell him to help me out with my back, getting the, scrubbing my back because I can't reach and to be sweating and itching that little cell. And then he used to poke me with the thing, like fucking with me, talking shit. I guess dudes from another gang or something. He used to be disrespecting the OG. He said, but I tricked his ass, though, Malik. One day I rigged that door open and left it open. And he came with that same bullshit. I said, man, hit my back for me, youngster. And he said the youngster did it and he poked him with it on purpose, right? And he said he slid that door open and grabbed his ass and whooped the DNA off of him. Yeah. And then that same dude, they was taking him to death row, San Quentin, because I believe when you go to death row from the men's central jail, don't quote me on it, but I believe they take you on a helicopter straight there. And uh, they was bringing him down the hall, right? He was shackled now. In the county jail, they always say, dead man walking. And you got to turn around and face the wall like this. R. Kelly tried that shit on me. I'll tell you that another day. He tried it on us once before. And you face the wall like this. So by me being a trustee and a radical, I'm like, man, I ain't turning around. Fuck that. So when I was walking by, the brother say, hey, little brother, you ever heard the story of the three minds? And I told this story before on other podcasts. I said, nah, I never heard the story of the three minds. He said, well, I was in this store once before. And in the store, they sold the white mind, the Chinese mind, and the black mind. So I said to the man in the store, excuse me, sir, how much you want for the white mind? He said, oh, for that one, Malik, I'll take $1 million. I said, well, that's relatively inexpensive. Being that the white mind invented the Constitution, got a lot of contributions to American culture. So I shopped some more in the store. And I ran across the section that sold the Chinese mind. So I asked the man in the store, I said, excuse me, sir, how much you want for the Chinese mind, which is Mongolian for all of us? And he said, oh, for that one, I'll take 2 million, Malik. I said, well, that's relatively inexpensive. Being that the Chinese invented the art of war, they did a lot of buildings and stuff, used helium to float bricks to the top. So I asked the man in the store, I said, how much you want for that? He said, I'll take 2 million. So I ran across a section that sold the black mine. And I asked the man in the store, I said, excuse me, sir, what do you want for the black mine? He said, oh, for that one, Malik, I'll take $10 million. I said, you want $1 million for the white mine and their endeavors 2 million for the Chinese mind and their endeavors. Why do you want so much for the black mind? He said, because the black mind hasn't been used. It's still in the box. Oh my God. You want 1 million for the white mind and their endeavors, 2 million for the Asian mind and his endeavors. Why do you want so much for the Crips and Bloods mind and the Vatos in the neighborhood? Because their mind is still in the box. It's never been used. So a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Yeah. And when we're talking about our youngsters out there, and if you got some youngsters at home and you need somebody to talk to them, get my number from Wild Moguls. I'll help you. I don't give a fuck how wild they are. The wilder they are, the more I want to be involved. The more murderous, the more combative they are, call Peacemaker, Malik Spellman. I got you for free. You got a school or something that you need help in, get me to it, and I got you. But get me the worst people you got on campus or don't call me. Because I didn't deal with gang members. Anybody can be a gang member. Anybody can be a member of a band. But are you Luther Vandross? Anybody can be a member of the YMCA. But are you the lifeguard? I dealt with serial killers. So I understand the members, because everybody in the gang is not putting in work. There's only a handful that's putting in work, and the rest fear and respect. So I didn't deal with gang members as America called them. That's just the name they put on there to stamp on the check to justify them getting federal funding.
Yeah.
Justify getting police and other shit. I dealt with dudes, homie, that had several homicides. So it's a big difference. So before your child gets to that, let me know. And then look out for your kids, the stuff that they do. Like if they got their birth year tatted on their leg. What does that mean? One little girl told me she got that so if she get killed, that they can identify her faster. Then they got kids in Compton over at the little ambulance training school where they teaching kids to use tourniquets, just in case, God forbid, one of them gets shot or something. They teach them how to teach on their way home from school. Got them in their book bags. This throughout the United States. What is our children? On one side, you got the school, the aviation, celebrity helicopters. Then down the street, you got an ambulance school that's teaching kids to be EMTs and paramedics. But in the meantime, when they coming by from school, my boy teaching them and giving them tourniquets to keep in their book bags. So if one of them gets shot, they can stop the bleeding. What does this society come to? See, I never really paid attention to Charlie Kirk because I'm my own intellectual being and I have my own decisions to make. But I do appreciate two things that he said, and I don't want to see no one killed. I don't give a fuck who it is. I'd rather us work it out and get to some sort of amicable agreement and then move forward as human beings. But it's two things that man said. And no, I'm not a Charlie Kirk fan, and no, I'm not against him. I know nothing about him. But he said there's been too many mass shootings in America, not to mention gang murders. And then the man was killed. So in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I think that's what God used him for, because his last words reflect what his duty really was. Whether he did it or not, that's between him and the Most High. But those are his last words that I remember. What is that telling society? They say signs and symbols are truly for men and women of understanding. So what sign of your Lord will you deny? Not to mention the UFOs that's coming. Come on, man. You got alien craft that's destined for America, and you still got fools asking you where you from. I'm damn near ready to tell motherfucker I'm from Mars. So if Mr. Alien, when you get here, you better bring a pistol, and they gonna ask you where you, and don't wear no funny ass colors. Just wear black or white. And that's all I'm gonna tell you, man. We are living in the autonomous automobiles, high technology, cameras everywhere, drones, Big Brother spying on shit, and inquisitive ass podcasters, and a nigga still ask you where you from in the year 2025. So when Mr. Martian come, you better be ready for them questions. Where you from? And if Jesus come, God forbid, you better be asking them questions. Where you from, Jesus? Jerusalem? or Mecca or Medina, but you better know what side of the tracks you on, because that's how bad it's got.
Yeah.
Seriously. We're a ruthless society. We got people eating out the trash, and they're rope. One day I was riding downtown, and it broke my heart. I seen a sister twice. Two black women broke my heart that was homeless. I seen a sister on 103-degree weather day, downtown Los Angeles jewelry district. All the rich fools go by, drinking out of a cup out the little hole that be in the side of the sidewalk with a water drain through. She was drinking the water out of there, and I'm watching I'm in my car going by, and I couldn't stop. If I could have stopped, I would have. Because I keep water in my car for the homeless. Sometimes I leave it at the bus stop or just in different locations. And I'm watching all these people roll by with Starbucks cups and water, and then they Rolls Royces and Bentleys, and she drinking that shit, and it broke my heart in half. Don't you think for 1 second that when I see these young people get murdered on TV and these kids and these girls, man, I cry like a child. Like literally like a child. They can be thousands of miles away. It affects me, man. Black, white, green, especially when I see shit happen to little kids. That shit drives me crazy. That's why I smoke so much weed, because I have PTSD. But see, in our society, a veteran, they can get help for their PTSD. You know, post traumatic stress disorder. Whereas in the hood, you have PTSD, but it's present traumatic stress disorder. Because soon as we get help for our PTSD and go around the corner, Lil Pookie done been killed. So we back. Or it's a murder scene.
Mm-hmm.
But a veteran go get help. And he done been in real wars. So we have what you call current post-traumatic stress disorder. Every time we hear a car backfire, we looking, jumping. You can be in a group of urban people, black and whites, mostly black and Mexicans, and let a car backfire and everybody take off running. Or you just take off running, everybody gonna take off running. That's PTSD.
Wow.
Right now, our children have it. I was in the car with my grandbabies one day, and the police was behind us. They was looking behind. I said, what? You ain't never even got a report card. Nevertheless, a ticket or a felony, they looking like this. Our babies is looking like this. We got to be really cognizant of what's going on. When you go to other suburban communities, you go through their communities, they got Sizzlers, Mastros, down. It's okay. They got all these restaurants and all these different activities going on. And you can sit down as a family. No. What'd I say? Then they sit down in a cohesiveness. I'm gonna create a word. But then when you go to the ghetto, they got to put a moratorium down because there's too many restaurants, fast foods up and down the ghetto. So you got little mama in the front with shower bag on her head, tarantula eyelashes, pajama pants, slides with the socks because her toes ain't done, fingernails look like knives, and she braiding her hair, talking on the phone, and the baby at the window telling the lady, give me a number 3. How's that creating cohesiveness? And you know why the black fathers and Spanish fathers are not in the house? Because in the 70s, when I was growing up, you weren't allowed to have a man in the house. You weren't allowed to have a man toothbrush. You weren't allowed to have man's shoes underneath your bed or color TV. So they be talking about the black man is out the house. No, you put him in prison. And then you been ran the black and brown man and the poor white dude out the house. Now they got Section 8. See, California don't allow black men to have their own housing. They don't. How many dudes you know got their own apartment? How many dudes you know got their own house? But go to Texas. Go to Oklahoma or someplace like that. Them brothers got homes.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. But you're not allowed to have that here. This is a woman police state. What'd I say?
I'm not sure if
Down.
I'm not
No.
I'm not sure if it's multiple states, but I know in California I was having a conversation. In order for mothers and women to get money from the check, the man can't be in the house.
That's not true. It's true, but it's not true. He can be in the house. I got a saying like this. Your woman can be on Section 8. See, the biggest family destroyer in California and the United States is child support.
Yeah.
Because child support is ruthless. And child support to me should be called relationship court. Because the minute you don't get along with your baby mama, or you get caught cheating, or you get your dick sucked on the other side of town and she crack you going to child support court. And the judge only want to hear one thing. See, a woman on child support, and men who do it, if they're the primary, the custodian, they can get tax return, PPP, Social Security, welfare, they payroll check, and no accountability for the baby when you send your money over there. Then when the baby get with you, you got to spend $200 or $300 plus pay child support. Because when your child comes, they want to go to McDonald's like the rest of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you spending that bread, and then the woman, in most cases, I'm speaking from a man's perspective, they are buying they new side nigga Jordans with the money. So there should be some accountability on their part. They should have a special card that show, look, this is what you get it for, and this shows what you spent it on. Because child support killed Levert's son. They tied him to the bench in Atlanta, and he died handcuffed for a child support warrant. They trying to knock Kanye's head off with it, and several other people. That's the biggest game in the world. And to you deadbeat dads out there, man, fuck you. You making it bad for us.
Mm-hmm.
For us players, they got in a bad situation with a relationship, and now we paid the price. So that's the number one destroyer of black families.
Child support.
Child support. Why do you think so many brothers going to prison? Now they trying to pay that bill. And in other states, unlike California, you get that child support, homie, they come down on you and lock your ass up. They be serious about that, like that's a murder.
So now, is there any game on how to help solve that problem or help brothers?
One thing you don't do, don't sign that birth certificate. Because once you sign that birth certificate, the game gonna send you a bill. So you sign them child certificates, tell them, that's my baby, I know it is. But fool, that's how they send that bill. They got money that's allocated for the poor to be able to be taken care of on welfare. The number one amount of people that are on welfare today in California are not blacks. They blame it on blacks. But we're only 300-some thousand of the population, if that. Okay? But when you go, my little nephew, Andre, shout out to him, my nigga Mook's son, he said he worked at Whole Foods or something, and all the women was coming there with Teslas and Bentleys and Ferraris with EBT cards in their hand. Look at the majority of people that's in California. They're not black. Okay? So, for example, if I went to Glendale and got on welfare, I'm gonna get some different help. If I went to South Central and got on welfare, I'm gonna get an EBT card, which is gonna have me at home watching BET all day with no help. So you can have a man in your house, but I call it having Section 16, meaning you gotta be on Section 8 and he gotta be on Section 8. And if you get on Section 8 and you on child support, they'll stop putting child support on you if you get on welfare. So it's a degrading process. If you got child support and you get on welfare, they stop sending you the bill. That's just how they go. Just lower your standards and let us take care of you. How you gonna, because they're not gonna take from their own pocket. But they wanna make sure that you got that.
So that's the game. Get on welfare and then you can avoid
Child support.
child
Because where's the proof? She can't make you take a DNA test. What can they do? I slept with her, but where's the proof that it's your child? You watch enough Maury, you are the father. Because your ass signed that birth certificate. And that's the bill saying, I'm gonna pay this bill I'm responsible for this child.
And I heard when you sign the birth certificate and you prove that the baby ain't yours,
You still pay.
you still pay.
They said that's a gift. They had a judge back in the 70s in New York. That's all my old New Yorkers. You can look him up, named Cut 'em Loose Bruce, a brother. They should do a movie. Spike Lee, you heard it here first. You should do a movie on Cut 'em Loose Bruce. He had a slogan like this. Well, if you feed the child long enough, they look like you, right? But Cut 'em Loose Bruce was the fair. He was like that little Spanish judge that just died. He used to let people go. He used to let all the pimps, the hustlers, the prostitutes go. Everybody wanted to go in front of Bruce. Because he was a man, but he was a player. It'd be an amazing movie to do on him. Do the research on Cut 'em Loose Bruce. That was his name, because he'd cut your ass loose. And Don Juan and them probably know about him. All them pimps and players. See, there's a lot of history that you youngsters just need to listen to that ain't on them other networks. You're going to find it right here on Wild Moguls TV. Because I lived this shit. I slept in elevators and some more shit in New York. I used to run away at 4 and 5 years old, and 12 and 13, I was gone. I came to Cali when I was 15 by myself with what America called today a migrant from Panama. Named Keely, eating peanuts and playing Bob Marley all the way here. We ate peanuts from the Port Authority bus station all the way to Los Angeles. He went to jail at the border. They let him go. I kept going to LA. I got in a cab at the bus station downtown LA. I'll never forget this. And I told the cab driver, I said, man, take me to the black community. Because unbeknownst to me, my friend Akili had stole some cocaine from some dudes. I didn't know he stole it. But I had borrowed a leather suit from the dude he stole it from, and that's a leather suit I stayed stuck in New York and LA for almost 2 years in hot-ass 100-degree weather. This same leather suit, my friends and family attest to it. I had no family and friends out here. So this dude stole that shit, and when he stole it, they probably looked at it like I had something to do, but I didn't know. I just bought the tickets because I was living in the... Hey, what'd I say? What'd I say? What'd I say? What'd I say? Sit down. Shut up. No. No. So, unbeknownst to me, Cola, be quiet if I take you in the house. So, unbeknownst to me, I told the cab driver, take me to the black community. I figured that's where I would best be at. And he dropped me off on 73rd and Broadway. And it makes my heart tear up thinking about it. Because when he dropped me off, I went to pay him. And he said, nah, you ain't got to pay me, just keep that. And he drove off and said, good luck. I was like, good luck. And he drove off. And that's when the nightmare began. Now, before that, well, I'll tell that story another time, how I met this dude in San Diego with a Panamanian buddy on a layover that had been stabbed. Consequently, I tried to help him. He was at one of our friends' houses. Ooh. And consequently, I tried to help him out. And I made sure that he had his money and all that, and his jewelry and whatnot. And when I got to LA, so what was I talking about?
Talk about the Panamanian in San Diego.
Oh yeah, so when I got here, we had already met a guy at my buddy's house in San Diego waiting for the layover on the bus. Then when I got here, we tried to sell some cocaine to this brother. And then we sold it to him. Then the next day he came back, because I didn't know dude had that powder. And he came back and he's like, yeah, man, y'all must be from New York. The first time we saw, he said, man, y'all from New York? I'm like, how you know that? He's like, man, this cocaine and the way y'all dress, they don't have this out here, right? So he said, man, my brother want to meet you. When he came back the second, I was like, your brother said, he said he didn't want to meet you. He said, his brother said he know me. I'm like, your brother know me? I ain't even been out here 3 days. I don't know nobody out here. The moral of the story is, guess what? Dick, shut the fuck up. It was the dude that I had met in San Diego that was on the couch sedated from being stabbed, who made him turn out to be the best of friends. He was the king of PCP manufacturing. And his brother, unbeknownst to me, bought that powder from me and then came back the next day and said his brother wanted me to come down there. Just think about it, robbed that dude or something, or did something slick. That's how karma works. That's why I tell these youngsters, the game will send you a bill. I don't know none of these people. I get to 73rd and Broadway. This dude tell me, man, my brother said he know you. What? I get this brother's the king of manufacturing PCP. I'm watching these LA niggas balling. They 13, 14, 15 with new cars, Cadillacs, some more shit. I'm like, where y'all getting this money from? And that's the moral of the story. I came ready to go to UCLA and I seen LA all right. South Central. You come out here on vacation, your black ass will leave on probation. Don't let these palm trees fool you. Get your education. Get you a trade, get you something to do, and listen to your motherfucking parents and your uncles. If not, contact Wild Moguls TV. We got you. Because we going to teach you how to sit down and shut the fuck up.